Hi, welcome back to my channel. It has been a while since I've done a video, especially a book review. I received this book to review and it's called Unqualified Success by Rachel M Stewart. As you can see, I have tabbed it a ton of times because I felt like a lot of the information was really good. I want to be able to go back to it and kind of reference that, so I apologize. I know it's kind of an eyesore. I really did enjoy the book. This book is kind of along the lines of a self-help book, which if you've watched my channel, especially my book reviews, I am more of a thriller, suspense, true crime type of girl. Those are the books that I usually read. When I did my book of the month last year, I did have different types of books. I was specifically going for different genres because I wanted to kind of give a good mix for new books in 2018. This book was something that I kind of needed, and I didn't realize I needed it when they reached out to me about reviewing it. Okay, so I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about the author. So Rachel M Stewart lives in Arizona. She is the vice president of a restoration company and also recently co-founded a software development company. And she talks about the different steps on how to go from feeling unqualified to qualified. First, I want to tell you what the book is about, kind of mention that a little bit, right? Kind of her own process from going from feeling unqualified to qualified. So the book is really a kick in the butt to anybody who has a goal, a current goal, right, or a new goal that you want to reach, and you just don't feel like you're qualified to do whatever it is, from, you know, a new job that you want, maybe your current job you don't feel qualified, or maybe you want to have a healthier lifestyle, or even just change your sleep schedule. I know, that seems weird, right? Something so easy like just changing your sleep schedule. Well, right, depending on who you are and your personality and the other things that you have to deal with, something as easy as changing your sleep schedule can actually be difficult. So this book can help really anybody who's just trying to get to the next step in their life. The book does that by giving examples, and it kind of has something for everybody. So I'm going to go into what I really liked about the book. Like most readers, when I'm reading a book, when I'm thinking about reading a book, the idea that I have in my head is a book that's going to flow well, that's going to go from one chapter to the other, that's not going to feel choppy, have some structure, but also not feel like a textbook or a guidebook. So I feel like this book does a really good job. The theme really flows within the chapter pretty well, and then also into the following chapters, especially with a self-help book that's really trying to achieve a goal right at the end. It's trying to get you to either make a change or to do something that you haven't done to try to get you to reach that goal. So I felt like the book did a really good job of keeping a structure. So kind of to give you an idea of what the structures are for the different chapters, the chapter has a theme. For example, mindset. So she also has a quote that's related to the theme of that chapter, and that's included at the very top. And then the rest of the chapter is her discussing ideas that she has on how to make that theme work for you, to change that theme, in this example, your mindset. So she'll talk about what your mindset is currently at, why you feel you're unqualified. She'll go over examples of people who have felt that way, including herself. She does talk about herself in the book, and really, like I said, because she felt unqualified, she does use a lot of examples of herself, but also other people that she knows, athletes, celebrities, even pop culture references, which I think is great. And so she uses those examples within the book, and then also at the end ties everything together and tells you where you started with that mindset, why you feel that way. She goes over the positives and the negatives, and then guides you on how to make those changes on that specific theme. So in this example, your mindset. At the end of the chapter, there are exercises, so questions, to get you to kind of put that into practice. And then there is an ongoing story within the book. At the end of every chapter, it's added onto that really ties into the whole idea of the book. And honestly, at first, when I was reading it, it was a little bit not annoying, but I was kind of like, okay, what's going on? Like, why is this being included? It did tie in right to the book. It was someone trying to reach a goal, not feeling qualified, but because it was about the same person at the end of every chapter, I was trying to figure out, okay, there's some sort of connecting, overarching theme here. And I was just waiting for them to get to it. But at the end of the book, I felt that it tied everything in really beautifully, and it kind of was a great way to kind of close out the book. So I really liked that. Another thing that I liked about the book, and as I said with the different examples that she gave, the examples were for different types of people, different types of scenarios. So they talked about athletes, they talked about celebrities, they talked about just any random person that doing any random job that isn't something high profile, and like I said, pop culture references. And so I was able to relate to a lot of it, and I feel like the book is relatable to a lot of different people. So sometimes when you read books like this, you think, oh, they're made for corporate employees. I can't really identify with talking about meetings or reports or, you know, conferences, things like that, and it's not something that everybody can relate to. And maybe the ideas in the book are good ideas, but you just can't put them into practice because you don't feel it relates to you. So I feel like she did a really good job in making sure that these examples that she used could work for different types of people. So I really enjoyed that because in reading that, I was like, oh yeah, I could definitely relate to that. I need to change that. I definitely do that. I definitely want to do what that person is doing. And if the examples were specifically related to me, then it was easier for me to be able to see how I could put that into practice. So I think she did a really good job of incorporating those different examples. So I did overall really like the way the book was structured, the way the chapters were structured, and just felt like everything was really easy to apply. And if you didn't know how to apply it, those exercises at the end, the questions, I feel like were able to guide you to kind of put that into practice. So I really enjoyed the book for those reasons. I do want to tell you some things that I didn't necessarily like about the book, and maybe why. So I did feel that in some of the chapters, maybe it felt repetitive. I feel like she was trying to tie things in together. And I know sometimes you do that by repetition, reinforcing an idea to make sure that it sticks with the reader, and that's fine. And I know that that's part of writing a book or just writing anything, but it did feel like that could have been tied differently to feel more like an idea that was expanding upon itself versus just kind of repeating the same thing. And I also, along those same lines, did feel that some of the chapters could have been combined. Maybe the ideas were similar enough that you could have put them in the same chapter and just kind of broken them down individually, but it is possible that she separated them because she wanted to give examples to those specific things, and maybe it was just easier to divide those chapters to be able to have more room to do that. So overall, what I didn't like about the book were all technical things. So things that weren't related to the material of the book so much as just kind of the way it was structured, which I know I said I like the structure of the book earlier, but again, this was just something tiny about the specific way that she separated the chapters and things like that. Also, I felt like she could have used maybe more statistics. I think there were some, but mostly it was referencing articles. I definitely would have appreciated kind of more statistics, maybe to back up what she was saying. Maybe the statistics don't exist. Maybe they're just ideas that she has, and that's fine. But I felt like that could have added to the book. So that's really my only critique about the book. So I really overall enjoyed this book. It was something that I really needed to read right now as someone who is trying to find motivation to pick up on goals that I've kind of left behind, also creating new goals, new things that I've decided I want to pursue, and not feeling like because I haven't been doing it, because I don't have a degree in the field that I'm trying to pursue, that I can't do it. This book really makes me feel like, hey, I can do it. I just need to change my mindset. I need to put different things into practice. Overall, the book really felt like an exercise in positive reinforcement. And the great thing about it is that it didn't just tell you, make this change, make this other change, do this, do that. It wasn't just like a checklist of things for you to do. It was really step by step telling you, hey, this is the mindset you may have, this is how to change it. And I know I've been saying mindset a lot. That is something that is discussed in the book, but overall I think all of these things that are discussed are mindset, and a lot of it is putting things into action, but for me that always comes from my mindset. So that chapter was probably my favorite because it's just kind of what I feel stems for everything that we do, is the mindset that we have and how we choose to put that into action or not. So it's not the only thing that she discusses, but I know I referenced mindset a lot earlier. I really feel like it is something that is relatable, something that can easily be put into practice. And if you have a hard time doing that, those exercises at the end of every chapter, they're specific to that chapter, to that theme. And so it doesn't feel like you're not able to build on the things discussed in the individual chapters. It very much gives you those tools, and then again ties everything in that chapter together to move on to the following chapter. I am also a huge quotes person. So any book that I read, I love to find quotes, especially with self-help books. There's a lot of motivating quotes, a lot of things that maybe you want to hang up in your corkboard or you want to put on a poster to kind of remind you to stay motivated to whatever you're doing. So I felt that there were a lot of really great quotes, and I did want to read one of them. And maybe it's not so much a quote as just more an excerpt in the book, but I wanted to read this. And it's at the very beginning of the book. There are a lot of great quotes throughout, but this one just kind of really tells you what the book is trying to achieve. So I really liked it. So the point is, he said, no matter where you are in your career or in the path of your life, you will always feel unqualified. This does not mean you are unqualified. The aim of this book is to help you gain awareness of this important differentiation, then manage any feelings of insufficiency in order to do your work in the world. So to me, that kind of really sets the stage for the book. Maybe I should have started with that. But it just really, tells you, like, you may feel unqualified. We're going to tell you how to differentiate between that feeling and actually being qualified. And at the end of reading this book, I could definitely understand how where I am now, wanting to move to the next step to reach a goal that I've been thinking about for a long time but haven't put into practice. It really helps me learn how to be able to put it into practice and feel confident about making that step, which I think for a lot of people, the feeling of being unqualified is really just not having the confidence, right, to do what we think we can do, what we likely can do. But of course, we have those doubts, and I think this book really helps kind of put that into perspective. That is my overall review of the book. If I did have to rate that between, let's say, a 1 through 10 scale, I would definitely give it a solid 9. Again, I felt that maybe statistics, if they were available, if those were used, and maybe tying some of the chapters together, maybe being less repetitive and building within a chapter from one idea to the next, would have definitely given it a solid 10. And with that being said, if you're trying to kickstart a goal, again, pick up a goal that you left behind because you weren't sure that you could do it or that you were qualified to do it, or you just want to start something new, I think this is a great book, not only just as a general read, but as I said before, I am definitely going to be referencing this book. As you can see, I think it has a lot of great points, not just the exercises that it has you do, but just the different quotes or even examples. I know some of us work really well with examples. If you've seen someone else put something into practice, just maybe by following those same guidelines, you can do it yourself. But I think this book has something for everybody, and I would definitely recommend it. Even if you're not looking to reach a goal, this is just a really good book on also how to change your mindset. Maybe you're qualified, maybe you're doing everything right, but you just want to learn how to change your mindset. I'm really excited that I got to read it and then I got to review it. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to comment down below. I will be doing more reviews. I feel like I say that a lot at the end of my videos, but I will be doing more reviews, more book reviews specifically. Right now, life is kind of busy, but I always have time to read, and so I will be doing more reviews. A lot of them, of course, will be closer to what I usually review. But feel free to comment down below if you have any questions or comments about this book review or about this book specifically. But I know that you can find it on Amazon. It's called Unqualified Success by Rachel M Stewart. Thank you for watching this video, and if you like the video, feel free to give me a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe as well, and thank you so much. I'll see you guys next time.